Hello, friends, and welcome to 10-Minute English Stories. If you are learning English, this is the perfect channel for you. We share short, simple, and inspiring stories in easy English, stories that help you learn new words, improve listening, and teach important life lessons. It is a story about a lazy student who became something no one expected. Stay with us. This one will stay in your heart. And hit that subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss any new videos. Let's begin. His teachers called him the worst student in school. His parents were ashamed of him. His classmates laughed at him every day. But 10 years later, he stood in front of thousands of people. How did he do it? What changed everything for him? Keep watching. The answer will surprise you. His name was Jake. He was 17 years old. He lived in a small town in Ohio, USA. His house was small. His family had little money. His father worked at a factory. His mother cleaned houses. Every day they worked hard, very hard. But Jake? Jake did nothing. He woke up late every morning. He skipped school. He played video games until midnight. His grades were the worst in class. Every single test failed. His teacher, Mr. Harris, once said in front of everyone, "Jake, you will never be anything in life." The class laughed. Jake looked down at his desk. He said nothing, but inside, it hurt. It really hurt. The letter. One evening, Jake came home from school. He saw his mother sitting at the kitchen table. She was crying quietly. There was a letter in her hand. "Mom, what happened?" She handed him the letter. Jake read it slowly. It was from the school, a warning letter. It said, "Jake will be removed from school if his grades do not improve." Jake felt a cold feeling in his chest. He looked at his mother's face. Her eyes were red. Her hands were shaking. She said softly, "Jake, I am not angry. I am just tired. I am so tired." She walked to her room and closed the door. Jake stood alone in the kitchen, the letter still in his hand. That was the moment everything changed, but not yet the way you think. That night, Jake could not sleep. His mother's words kept playing in his head. "I am so tired." He got up, he walked outside. It was 2 in the morning. The streets were empty and quiet. He walked and walked. He didn't know where he was going. Then he stopped. He was standing in front of the old town library. The lights were on inside. That was strange. It was the middle of the night. He didn't expect what he found inside. Jake pushed open the door. A bell rang softly. An old man looked up from behind a desk. He had white hair and kind eyes. He was the librarian. His name was Mr. Cole. "You look lost, son," Mr. Cole said gently. Jake sat down. He didn't know why, he just sat down. And then, something he never expected, he started to cry. He told the old man everything. The letter, his mother's tears, his bad grades, his broken confidence. Mr. Cole listened. He didn't interrupt. He didn't judge. He just listened. When Jake finished, Mr. Cole stood up. He walked slowly to a bookshelf. He came back with a small old book. The cover was faded and worn. He placed it in Jake's hands and said, "Every great person you have ever heard of started exactly where you are now. Read this." But Jake was skeptical. He had never finished a single book in his life. Jake took the book home. He put it on his desk. He stared at it for a long time. Then he opened it. The first page said, "You are not lazy. You are just lost. Find your reason. Then nothing can stop you." Jake read that line again and again and again. Something moved inside him, something quiet and powerful. He read 10 more pages that night, then 20, then the whole book. He finished it just before sunrise. He sat in the early morning light. Something felt different. He felt different. That was just the beginning. What happened next would shock everyone who knew him. The next morning, Jake woke up early, very early. He showered, he ate breakfast, he went to school, on time, for the first time in years. Mr. Harris saw him walk in and raised his eyebrows. "Well, well, Jake is actually here today," he said with a smirk. Jake said nothing. He just sat down and opened his notebook. That afternoon, Jake went back to the library. Mr. Cole gave him another book, then another, and another. Every day, Jake came back. He read about scientists, athletes, artists, inventors, people who failed, people who were told they were worthless, people who kept going anyway. Jake started doing his homework. Then he started doing extra work. He stayed up late, but now it was to study, not play games. He asked his teachers questions. He wrote notes. He practiced. His classmates noticed. They whispered about him. "Jake is acting weird. Something is wrong with him." But Jake didn't care anymore. He had a reason now. His reason was simple: his mother's tired eyes. He never wanted to see them again. But then, something happened that almost broke him completely. 3 months after his change, Jake took a big math exam. He had studied for 2 weeks. He felt ready. He got the result the next day. He failed. Not just failed, the lowest score in the class. Mr. Harris held up the paper in front of everyone and said, "I told you, some people just cannot learn." The class went quiet. Jake felt the world shrink around him. All the hard work, all the early mornings, all the late nights. For what? He walked straight to the library after school. He threw the exam paper on Mr. Cole's desk. His hands were shaking. "I give up," Jake said. Mr. Cole picked up the paper. He looked at it carefully. Then he looked at Jake. His eyes were calm. His voice was steady. "Jake, you got 48 out of 100. 3 months ago, you got 12. That is not failure. That is progress." Jake looked up. "The only real failure," Mr. Cole continued, "is the person who stops trying." What happened in the next 6 months, nobody in that school could believe. 6 months passed. Jake worked harder than anyone in his school. He read, he practiced, he asked questions, he failed small, he improved big. Then came the most important day of the year, the State Student Speech Competition. Students from all over Ohio were competing. Only one student from each school could enter. Jake's school needed a student. The teachers looked around, and then, quietly, one teacher said, "What about Jake?" The room went silent. Even Mr. Harris looked up. Everyone was surprised. Jake? The lazy student? But Jake said yes. He worked on his speech every single day. He practiced in front of the mirror, in front of Mr. Cole, in front of his mother, who now watched him with new eyes. The day of the competition came. Jake stood on a stage with 400 people in the audience, lights shining down, cameras recording, judges watching. His heart was beating so fast, he thought of his mother. He thought of Mr. Cole's kind eyes. He thought of that line from the first book, "Find your reason, then nothing can stop you." He took a deep breath. He opened his mouth. He spoke. His speech was about failure, about mothers who cry quietly, about old librarians with kind eyes, about second chances. When he finished, the room was completely silent. Then, one person started clapping, then 2, then 10, then the entire room. A standing ovation. Jake won first place. After the competition, Jake's life changed completely. He graduated from high school with strong grades. He got a scholarship to college. He studied hard. He never stopped reading. Years later, he became a public speaker. He traveled around the country talking to students, young people, lost people, people who felt exactly the way he once felt. Every speech he gave, he ended with the same words: Nobody is lazy. Everybody is just waiting for a reason. Find yours. His mother never cried again. Not from pain, anyway. Sometimes she cried from pride. And Mr. Cole? He was in the front row at every speech, always smiling, always proud. You are not lazy. You are just looking for your reason. When you find it, truly find it, no grade, no teacher, no failure can stop you. It only takes one moment, one book, one kind person, one decision. That moment can change everything. Thank you for watching 10-Minute English Stories. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and subscribe. We have many more powerful stories waiting for you. See you in the next one.